everybody. Hello, hello. It's great to have you here. It is Monday. It is 8:30, which means it is time for Conversations with Teresa. I am your host, Teresa Aline, and as always, I'm excited to be here. I am excited because there's so much to talk about. I thought that I would run out of things to talk about in regards to uh, this life stage. And there's just more stuff to talk about. So I was thinking about what's been on my heart lately is that we as women, as this time in our lives, yes, we are absolutely facing menopause, perimenopause. We are in the throes of it. Some of us are in the throes, some of us just kind of walking through, and everything is fine. But there's more to this stage in life. Not everything is perimenopause. And I'm sure that at some point I said it jokingly, like everything is just perimenopause. You just kind of throw it out there like, yep, that's perimenopause. Like my finger hurts. That's probably perimenopause too. And so it can feel that way. Absolutely. It can feel that way. The reality is that it's not everything. What we have the awesome pleasure of dealing with is that, yes, we may be going through perimenopause and some of the challenges, but even if we weren't, we have midlife that we're going through. This is a part of our midlife journey. And that's really what I wanted to talk about tonight. There are challenges that come up in our 40s and 50s that for the most part didn't come up when we were a teenager or when we're 80. And so some of those things in which we'll talk about, it really can elevate or intensify perimenopause, the symptoms, but it may not just be perimenopause. So let me just get to it. There is about 5 things. There's way more, but the things that I want to talk about tonight, there's about 5 midlife things that happen right around this time. And one of the first things, I have not experienced it yet, but maybe at some point I will, is that empty nester syndrome type thing. Depending on who you are, you may think empty nester, woohoo, kids are gone, right? And I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I'm switching their room to this, that, and the other. The reality is that not everyone feels that way. Depending on life situation, family dynamics, and things like that, we can get to the point where we can feel a little lonely. We can feel a little lost as to, so what are we going to do now that the kids are not here? What am I going to do now that no one's calling me, all day? I don't have to keep my phone ringer on just in case, any one of them calls. What is my purpose in the day? And everyone is different. Everyone experiences not only perimenopause, but everyone experiences midlife a little different. Some can feel a little guilty or grief, the loss of not having the children in the house. Even if their children were 28 years old, our children are our children. And so we can miss that, and we can start having different feelings and emotions around that. And what are we going to do with that is the question. So one thing that I want to ask you, or you can ask yourself, is what is something you stopped doing for yourself when your kids were younger? What was that thing? I remember I used to, when we were, well, actually my kids were younger, my friend Christine and I, we would just go out. Our husbands were playing in a band, and while they were in the band, we would go out. We were so funny, right? We went to like Walmart and was like, woohoo, Walmart. But those are the things that we were able to do. And we would stay out till like midnight because then we needed a snack and, all of this stuff. But I don't do that anymore. One, I'm tired. By 9:30, it's a wrap, right? And so, but just thinking about those type of things, we can start to kind of get back to rediscovering our dreams, our emotions, our friendships. There's so many different things that we can think or feel in that time. And so I want people to be aware that yes, this midlife time is not just perimenopause, but it has some real things that are happening. And we really do need to pay attention to this. So it's not the end of parenting, right? But it's really the beginning of being able to reconnect with you. And that's one of the beautiful things about this time. Again, some people may take it a little harder. Some people may be woohoo. Either way, wherever you are, it's totally fine. But if you are aware of it, then it can help in a lot of ways. So that's one thing, just that empty nest syndrome type thing. I said syndrome. I feel like that's a negative connotation, but empty nesters, we'll just put it that way. All right. Then here's another one, really caring for our parents, caring for our aging parents. Oh, excuse me. That's what happens when you go live. So, excuse me. Caring for our aging parents, it can hit us in various ways. I'm just going to take some water really quick. Excuse me. I remember when my kids were younger, and I don't remember who I had the conversation with, but someone was talking about their parents and their need to go visit their parents, and they lived on the East Coast. Their parents lived on the West Coast, but they needed to go and take care of them, and they felt bad because they could only go for a certain amount of time because they had their children and they had work and things like that. And I was blessed enough to be able to stay in the same city as my parents. And then even better, we moved across the street from them. And it was always in my mind that at some point when we moved across the street, our kids were super young. And I was like, I need some help. But I also thought at a point they're going to need some help from me. And it happened, some of you may know that during COVID, my mom passed away from COVID. We both got it at the same time, but she passed from it. But being able to care for her during that time was immeasurable, and still being able to fully be here with my family as well. When we're literally 3 houses away across the street. So it was a beautiful thing, but not everyone has that. And there's that pressure that we can feel like, oh my gosh, like I got to do this, I got to do that. And sometimes we're the only one who's got to do it. There's a lot of emotion that comes with that. And again, this is not a time to be like, oh my gosh, this is a terrible thing, but it's just more of realizing that there are a lot of pressures that come in midlife, and they are very, very real. Being able to set yourself up as best as you can so that you can be aware of it and see how you can mitigate it in any way possible. So, but also know that you're not alone. Caregiving does not have to be a one person thing. You might have to have outside help, but a lot of times you may find someone who is more than willing to, take mom to the grocery store or get groceries for mom or check in on her or just sit with the family as need be if you're not able to be there. But try not to do it all on your own. You can honor your parents without abandoning yourself. Okay. So I know it's not easy, but those are things that we can talk about in midlife. All right. A third one, rethinking your career choices, right? So when maybe you went to college, maybe you graduated, you're like, I'm going to be this, that, and the other. And then you became this, that, and the other, and you rose up through the ranks. And then you're like, there might be something more, or there might be something different, or just, I don't want to do this anymore. Maybe you've grown out of that particular dream. And that happens at this time. You've got a lot of experience under your belt, and the things that make you go, the things that energize you, and you know the things that drain you. And this is a great time in life where you can choose what it is that you're going to do. Do you really want to keep putting forth the things that drain you? Or you're like, listen, I'm going to take, my last 20 years of working and I'm going to make it voila, whatever it is that you want to make it. But you have that choice. You have that that mindset that you can do this. And so I want to make sure that you know that about yourself, that those feelings can come up. You may rethink about your career. It's totally normal. It's totally fine. And if you do that, feel good about it. Get some advice. Talk to a coach. There's so many different ways that you can go about it, but it's not a time to feel guilty or bad or anything. But this is really a time that you can put forth the energy that you want to have out of your life into your life, if that makes sense. All right. So rethinking your career is just one other aspect of midlife. So one other thing I want to talk about is two more things. And one is the shift in relationships. I realized that the same friends that I may have started out with, whether it's in middle school, high school, and I thought we would be friends forever, things change. And you can feel a little bad about it, because you're like, no, we committed to being this way or whatever. And then we're different. Again, we have those experiences. We have, in so many ways. I'm talking about friendships. I'm talking about spouseship, a marriage. I'm talking about even family. The folks that we put ourselves into and around. Sometimes a lot of times during this time of life, we are kind of reevaluating a whole lot of things, and it's like, do I really want to spend my Saturday doing this? Do I really want to be on the phone doing this? Or would I rather be doing this? Right. And your tone changes. You kind of sit up straighter and you know the things that again that are draining you, and the things that give you energy. And so unfortunately, sometimes relationships kind of sever at this time in life, and people can think that, oh, you're being this way or that way, or maybe there's someone who's doing being that way to you. You're like, oh, what's up with Susie Q? How come she's not calling? Susie might just be going through some stuff. Susie may not even understand what it is that she's going through, right? But as a friend, let your friend be, and then you let you be as well. And understanding that our relationships do change. We could talk a lot more about that, but it's okay. It's okay. I would encourage you to set boundaries, seek deeper connection, the things that you really want. And then for those relationships that really no longer serve you in a great way, you might have to let those go. And that can be super, super painful. I get that. I've been through that. Um, yeah, it's a tough thing. But in the midst of everything that's going on, that is one of the things that we want to do, is really not necessarily grieve like the old versions of us, but like really make space for the new us, the really now authentic us. And that's okay. It's okay. Be kind, right? Don't be mean to people or anything like that. Be kind, but sometimes you might have to have some of those conversations like, this is not working anymore, And so anyway, it's not that easy, but I definitely wanted to make sure I put that out there. One more thing. And again, it's not a full list of all the different things that we go through in our midlife selves, but one of the things that we want to do is like we search for meaning and fulfillment in things. It's like we can ask ourselves, is this it? Is, you're 45, 50 years old and you're like, is this it? Is this all that life has to offer? You know, but it's not. There's so much that life has to offer, and you are redefining the joy that you had. The joy that you had when you were 20 is not the same that you have when you're 40. Maybe it is, but it might have changed a little bit because, again, you've got experiences and different relationships and different circumstances that have entered into your life. And so it's really okay to say, I'm changing, and really to be able to embrace that. So looking for the things that bring you joy and fulfillment in life. Maybe it's, I'm trying to think of something. I know one time my niece and I, we had the same thought, and I still have this thought. Like sometimes when it's pouring down rain, we wish that we could just buy hundreds and hundreds of umbrellas, and then as people are like in the rain, that we pass them out. And that might sound small and simple, but it's one of those things that, because we care about people and we care about circumstances that people find themselves in, it's something that we want to be able to do. We want to be able to help. We want to be able to serve. We want to be able to give. And it's a whole different level when you are in your midlife, these 40s and 50s. There's a lot more awareness. There's just a lot more information that you have under your belt. And so that fulfillment is just different than what it was before. So a question you could ask yourself is, what would make you feel more alive? What is it? Is it uh, I'm going to serve consistently at a food shelter, or I'm going to make sure that I help my elderly neighbors, or I'm going to use my talent to do XYZ, ABC, whatever it is. Think about that thing. What is it that's going to help you to feel more alive? And sometimes we know exactly how to get there, and sometimes we need some help in getting there. And I just want to let you know, through all of this, whether it is perimenopause, whether it is midlife, whether it is whatever it is, whatever it is, that I am here for you as your uh, perimenopause coach, your midlife coach, your friend, and Teresa. So, with all of that said, I also want to invite you. I have an event coming up, and I'm excited about it. It is going to be on Thursday, July 31st. I believe I had mentioned this before, but it is going to be held at the Stop and Shop, and it is thriving through perimenopause. And it's a talk discussion, but it's a very fun and interactive event where we are going to be talking about some of the stages, some of the aches and pains, some of the pain points, I guess, of perimenopause, and finding some reliefs, finding some ways to get through it, but also finding community with it. So I'm very excited to be able to bring it to my community. I'm a less than a mile away from this, from the Stop and Shop in Grove Hall in Boston. And so if you are here, if you are in the vicinity, I'd love for you to come. Please tell your friends about it. It's going to be a fantastic time. And this is me fulfilling my role, my desire, my dream in life. I always want to help people. I always want to give people information. I always want to elevate someone to whatever their next level is. And this is one way that I get a chance to do it. I, as you can see, I throw everything out there, right? You'll know just about everything about my life. And if you didn't know, if you want to know some more, you can just ask me and I'll tell you. But I don't like to see people go through things in a hard way if they don't have to. There are some things that we learn better through the toughness. But this information doesn't have to be hard. How about we take the information and now we know, and then we work through everything else? That is my goal. That is my purpose in coaching, my purpose in this podcast, my purpose in the conversations. It's really just to get you from A to B. And I'm hoping that I do a great job in letting you see the challenges that I've gone through and the victories, and to be able to celebrate together. So with all that said, please come to Thrive Through Perimenopause, July 31st. It's a Thursday evening. It's from 6 to 7:30. It's going to be fantastic. And besides that, what I'd love for you guys to do, if you have not done so already, click like, subscribe to my channel. I didn't believe before like how important that is. So it is. It's pretty important to be able to do that. So if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do that tonight. Please tell your friends to do that tonight. It is it makes a big difference. So with all that said, have an amazing rest of your Monday, because it's yours and you have that choice. So peace out. Look forward to seeing you guys next Monday in Conversations with Teresa. Thanks for coming.